Well then, that was a lot different from what I was expecting. But in this case, that might not be a bad thing, because while this may not be a full-blown metal record per se, I do kind of love it, and with that in mind, it might be my favorite non-metal album of the year so far. Yeah. So, full disclosure, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know piss all about Genghis Tron. I've never listened to an album of theirs in its entirety until this very moment. I've never really even heard of them before. I've only really heard about them very recently through other YouTubers and critics like Metal Trenches, The Metal Triss, and Brad Seed. Apparently, once upon a time, in a magical land, they played a very chaotic and glitchy kind of mathcore, on par with that of Dillinger Escape Plan, but with a lot more electronic influence. Some have gone on to call this Nintendo Core, apparently. I don't know for sure. Don't shoot the messenger. Then they disappeared for 13 years, and now they're back with a brand new studio album entitled Dream Weapon, which appears to be essentially the polar opposite of the ascension I just gave you. Anyone expecting the chaotic, glitchy mathcore that apparently this band once had in another far-off time, again, I don't know, don't shoot me, might be a little disappointed, because this record most certainly does not have that. This record is a lot more atmospheric, a lot more translucent, a lot more hypnotic and ethereal. It feels like a mishmash of the most recent records from Elder and Loathe, respectively, with additional influences from some of the Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross orchestral work. There are influences from synth rock, post-rock, progressive rock, electronic and industrial and ambient music. There are a lot of spacey, futuristic keyboards and psychedelic guitar progressions and soundscapes, and a lot of trancy electronic percussion. Occasionally there are some elements that one could argue are inherently kind of metal. You could picture them on a Dillinger Escape Plan type mathcore record, but even these moments are very subdued and exist to flesh out and develop a much larger kind of soundscape that, again, based on what I've heard, Genghis Tron hasn't quite touched upon before. And I think it's genuinely fascinating. I don't really know how to explain it. I obviously can't compare it to previous Genghis Tron records, so I won't. But I will tell you that this is one of the most interesting experiences I've had with a new record in any genre in 2021. I was genuinely mesmerized by and completely immersed in this album's particular sonic universe. From the far-out sci-fi progressive and post-rock of Pyrocene, to the sensual and shape-shifting percussion and guitar work of the album's title track, Dream Weapon, which almost harkens to Black Holes and Revelations era Muse, to the very trancy and ethereal gems and melodies of Alone in the Heart of Night, which honestly sounds like something from an alternate universe where Cynic becomes an ambient or electronic band. The track Ritual Circle in particular I found genuinely very hypnotic. I love a lot of the keyboard and percussion work on here. I love how the track constantly builds on this very droning, repetitive kind of industrial beat, constantly blooming and blossoming with some really great vocal textures, some great guitar progressions, some more great keyboard parts. While not sonically metal, there is a genuine sophistication to this that does remind me of some really great prog metal from bands like Mastodon and Tool, or even the aforementioned Dillinger Escape Plan, especially on a track like Simple Black Point, which does build a lot of very atmospheric textures and soundscapes on top of a semi-angular, disjointed guitar riff. Whereas some mathcore, prog metal, and prog rock bands would use some of these styles for intros and interludes, almost to signify the calm before the storm, this album exists in the eye of the storm. It is the calm in the eye of the hurricane itself. An argument could be made that as far as the production and compositions are concerned, this is still kind of a hectic record. It's just not the hectic that I imagine Genghis Tron fans are used to hearing, something Metal Trenches implied himself in his album review. Or so I've been told. Again, I don't really know for sure and thus don't have the knowledge to tell you for sure. But I will tell you that as a music fan just wandering into this record looking for something cool and exciting, that's exactly what I found. No, it's not the over-the-top, chaotic, glitchy mathcore that I was perhaps promised in some respects, but it was a damn fine collection of incredibly relaxing and atmospheric tunery. I mean, this is probably the most engaged I've been with an album of this type in a long time. And as such, I feel very comfortable giving this a very enthusiastic 4 out of 5 and telling you again that this is probably one of my favorite non-metal albums of 2021 so far. It makes me genuinely excited to go check out the Genghis Tron records and compare the two and completely immerse myself not just in the universe of this particular album, but in the Genghis Tron Sonic universe as a whole. Hell, if I go to Cops or Sonic Boom anytime soon and this motherfucker's on vinyl, I'm nabbing it. You better fucking believe I will nab the ever-living fuck out of that thing. Anyone looking for something a little bit more laid back and chill amongst the storm of metal releases we see every single week will be very satisfied with this, I think. Again, I know I sure as hell am. Maybe it is just because I'm coming out of some very divisive reviews for Evanescence and Sanguisugabog, but I fucking love the crap out of this thing. This was exactly what I think I needed right now. There's no filler, the production's fantastic, it might not be what everyone wants it to be, but I don't give a flying fuck because I think it's fucking great just the way it is. So 4 out of 5, keep an open mind and give it a shot. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I'm not an expert, nor do I claim to be. So what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.